Secret spending, hundreds of dollars hidden. 1 in 5 Americans are guilty of it. In fact, guilty of hiding more than $500 in purchases from their significant other. So today, we're helping you out, looking at how to keep a healthy financial relationship between you and your spouse or your significant other. Financial expert Phil Putney joins us from AFS Wealth Management. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
This is kind of an interesting conversation to have. We're talking financial therapy, and it's not necessarily the most romantic thing when you talk your relationship and money, but they kind of go hand in hand.
Oh, absolutely they do. I mean, you probably heard it before, but couples argue more about money than they do anything else.
Yeah, it's true.
And the best way to avoid that, though, is to have that open and honest communication about your finances. I mean, communication is really the key to having that healthy financial relationship.
And what do you suggest people do?
Well, what they talk about kind of depends on what stage the relationship's in. I break it down into 4 different categories. You know, if they're dating, I say you need to talk it out. Usually when you're dating, you're trying to put that best foot forward. So it's easy to keep some financial secrets, maybe not talk about a spending habit you have or some debt that you might have. But you really need to start it with honesty as that best policy to begin with, because those little white lies in the beginning can become pretty big issues later on in your relationship if you don't, handle them up front. An easy way to bring that topic up is to take a financial compatibility quiz, like the one I have on my website at afswealthmgt.com, under the download section.
Gotcha. Now, in terms of having that conversation with your spouse, do you have any advice? What should couples be talking about when they sit down to talk about money?
Well, when you get married, a lot of times it comes up, do we, commingle our funds or do we keep them separate?
Right.
And a recent statistic came out that 7.2 million Americans actually have a hidden bank account or credit card that their spouse doesn't know about.
Is that good?
No, not really.
Kind of like a just in case fund, the secret fund, just in case it doesn't work out?
And it's okay to have some of those. I mean, some couples like to have an account on the side just for gifts or, some discretionary spending. But generally, commingling funds is a better option. Helps avoid some of the arguments of who's paying for what bill or how much money you're making.
Right.
And then when you get into parenthood, it's another story. You got to start thinking about the baby, and specifically college. A parent with a child today can expect to spend about $220,000 for a 4-year education by the time that child reaches college. And that's if it's at a public university. If they're thinking more of a private university, closer to $500,000. And
it's also important when you're having these conversations, make sure you're setting up a monthly meeting, marking it on the calendar, making sure that you're planning time to sit down and talk with your significant other, your spouse, to make sure that you guys are kind of on the same page, right?
Yeah, you need to set up what I call a financial date. Have a time set aside where you talk open and honestly about those finances. I mean, that's the best way to avoid some of these issues that could come up.
Yeah, and once you get past that talk about baby and saving for college, of course, you also want to throw in the golden years, retirement, and all that stuff in there as well. Phil, thank you so much for stopping by. We always appreciate the expert financial advice from you. Andrew, we'll send it over to you.